How many times have you sat in traffic, fuming because a flagger has delayed traffic through a construction zone? Or perhaps those annoying orange barrels have popped up overnight on your route to work, announcing delays and aggravation in the days to come. Relax. Those barrels signify progress. They are a signal that, after years of planning and scheduling a project, it is finally going into the construction phase, and what was once a suggested improvement will soon be a reality. Louisiana's transportation infrastructure includes nearly 17,000 miles of state-maintained highways and 14,000 bridges, and is valued at nearly $35 billion. It's a diverse system covering a variety of terrain, with environmentally sensitive areas scattered throughout. Everything we value depends upon this transportation infrastructure. It is the most used government-provided service. The Federal Highway Administration has recently estimated that for every $1 billion of highway investment, some 7,900 on-site jobs are generated in the construction industry. Over 19,000 off-site jobs are generated in supply and service industries, and over 14,000 are induced by the ripple effect of spending by firms and their employees in other segments of the economy. Furthermore, every dollar invested in the transportation infrastructure benefits the taxpayer by reducing congestion and operating costs, fewer highway injuries and fatalities, and improving air quality. To build and maintain this diverse and indispensable transportation system, we must address both environmental concerns and the concerns of our citizens, and we must allocate limited financial resources using objective engineering data. The highway program being presented to you today represents DOTD's recommendations for projects to be let to construction next fiscal year and others in preparation for letting in future years. This program includes projects approved by the legislature and a limited number of new recommended projects. The purpose of these hearings is to review the department's recommendations. So let's take a look at the process by which projects are selected for inclusion in the program, a 7-step process which is known as the Highway Needs and Priority Process. This process was established by a legislative statute, RS 48-228, which requires the department to divide the highways of the state into 4 classifications: urban arterial, rural arterial, urban collector, or rural collector. Collectors act as funneling agents to arterial roads. In addition, the law states that funds must be distributed between these classes. This distribution of funds is based on the proportional needs in each class. In compliance with this statute, DOTD maintains an inventory of data on each highway, including safety, pavement condition, traffic volumes, truck traffic, lane and shoulder widths, alignment, and drainage. All this data is used to establish ratings for pavement condition, level of service, which is a measurement of congestion, and safety. These are called sufficiency ratings. In the Highway Needs Study, current conditions are compared to established criteria to determine needs. Reasonable thresholds are established for serious consideration of a project. Roadways which fall below these established thresholds are identified as now needs. For this fiscal year, it would cost approximately $5.2 billion to address all now roadway needs. Generally, each fiscal year, the department receives only $350 to $400 million to address these needs. Of these funds, approximately $250 million are federal funds. The gap between what is needed and what can be done is tremendous. This emphasizes the critical nature of the project selection process. Since limited funding allows us to do relatively few projects, we must choose the ones that give the most benefit in accordance with the guidelines established by law. How do the needs of Louisiana roads compare with other states? FHWA reports indicate our pavement conditions are in line with the national average. In fact, a study done by the University of North Carolina at Charlotte recently commended Louisiana as being the most improved state highway system in the country. This is due, in large part, to the emphasis on system preservation. The project selection process involves a comparison of all now needs for each type of improvement in each functional class. Comparisons are based on technical evaluations, accident records, field reviews, consideration of benefits, and input from legislative hearings, metropolitan planning organizations, and DOTD districts. Projects are recommended for inclusion in the program only if there is a reasonable expectation that money will be there to do the project. The FHWA mandates this and refers to such a program as financially constrained. Once new projects have been identified, they are included in the proposed program, which is presented for the public's review at legislative hearings held each year in each of the 9 highway districts, as we're doing here today. At step 4, all requests are documented by the department, and those considered feasible are incorporated in the program being reviewed. Remember, with a financially constrained program, projects cannot be added without taking something else out. This is usually not feasible. So, the input from the hearing is most useful in the development of future programs as projects are analyzed and compared in each area of the state. DOTD is charged with stewardship of state money by serving the needs of many. Certainly, the priorities of the elected officials and citizens is an important part of the project selection process. While we realize that there is no one set of priorities that will be acceptable to everyone, we look for common ground between what local citizens want and what has been identified as a high priority need. By going through the step-by-step process, we are assured good projects will be included. As you can see, our challenge is to focus on those which appear to show the most benefit and are of the most overall importance. For each project in the proposed program, a tentative fiscal year for construction is noted. This is based on projected funding levels and the estimated completion date of pre-construction activities. Once the final recommended program has been defined, it is formally submitted to the legislature for approval. Once approved, the projects are considered in the program. So now what? Someone might say, okay, my job is in the program. When will I see orange barrels? Well, each project must go through what we call the pre-construction process, which includes activities such as environmental impact studies and clearance, survey, design, real estate acquisition, and relocation of utilities. Once in the program, a project's order of construction letting is based primarily on the time frame required to complete pre-construction activities. For example, the widening of a certain road may be a high priority in the state. Because of the comprehensive pre-construction activities, it may not be ready for construction for 8 years. Therefore, its proposed construction date would be behind projects of less importance. The time frame required to accomplish these tasks can range from 1 year for relatively simple projects, such as overlays, to 8 years or more for major widening projects, which have significant impact. After all pre-construction activities are completed and project funding is established, the projects are let for construction. Within months, those orange barrels start popping up, and years of technical consideration and planning hit the road.